Arrest Mary Brown! Arrest Mary Brown! Arrest Mary Brown!
There is no such thing as a safe transition. If you transition your child, you are mutilating and castrating them.
Judge Mary Brown is a child abuse judge! Judge Mary Brown is a child abuse judge! Judge Mary Brown is a child abuse judge! Judge Mary Brown supports child mutilation! Judge Mary Brown supports child mutilation!
Hey, did you know silver prices are down right now because investors are selling their holdings because of a turn down in demand? Once fear subsides though, you can see a surge in demand for silver as consumers come back. This is a perfect time to get your silver IRA started. And this month, you'll get an incredible 3-ounce silver American virtual coin with a qualified IRA of $20,000 or higher. You can't go wrong with Noble Gold. Call the team right now at 877-646-5347 and tell them we'll send you, or go to noblegoldinvestments.com.
Mary Brown, and we have a group of people that are just walking around. They're not actually stopping in front of her home. They're just kind of passing by her home.
Oh yeah.
They're not doing the same thing they did with Brett Kavanaugh when they put the Roe versus Wade back to the states. They're not doing the same thing they were doing there, trying to threaten them, wanting to attack them. But why are they protesting her?
Well, for a ruling that she put on Jeff Younger's case. It made national news. It was a father, a Texas-based father. He's got 2 9-year-old boys that he's been in and out of family courts. His ex-wife is pretty much trying to do a forced transition on their son, one of their sons.
So is it puberty blockers?
Yeah.
Is it mutilation as well?
Oh, absolutely. Puberty. I would consider puberty blockers mutilation, right? It cuts off the testosterone, or whichever sex it is. It prevents the natural progression of a child's anatomy. Right?
So why do you think she ruled in favor of the ex-wife to be able to take the child out of state to have the child mutilated?
I would think because of the district that she lives within, right? We're seeing a big push in bending a knee across the state of Texas and across the U.S. for 1% of the population, which is completely asinine in my eyes, right? Where everyone should bend a knee for a small percentage of the population. It's not normal, right? And they're trying to normalize it.
Yeah, it is. It's completely not normal. Why do you think they're not waiting until the child is 18 to make the decision for the child's sake as an adult? Because something this dramatic can traumatize the child. And there's been many cases where children have come forward after being on these puberty blockers, after going through this, and they're crying, and they say it's such a terrible ordeal. It's caused more medical issues than they expected.
Yeah.
Why do you think they won't wait until they're 18?
Well, I think that, one, from our failed leadership, right? We could have stopped this a long time ago. Jeff Younger, I've court watched for him. I know that he pushed a lot of like 3 or 4 different bills at the legislature. Democrats failed us, Republicans failed us. I'll call both of them out. I'm a Republican, I'm a conservative, but not all Republicans are good Republicans, right? Greg Abbott, where's our leadership? He's failed us. Dan Patrick, he's failed us. Ken Paxton, he's failed us. He came out with a ruling. Matt Krause submitted an opinion letter, right? And he came out a couple months ago. Obviously, it was election time. But so I would say our leadership's failed us. I think some of it's a day and age of instant gratification, right? I coin it as everyone gets a trophy. Mm-hmm. They want to live in the moment, and they're not thinking about the long-term consequences. And it's also a failure within the parents as well, acting in the best interest of their children and protecting them, because there is a movement of people that are detransitioning, and it's detrimental. You can't reverse it, right?
Right, yeah. And I've noticed, like, in states like California, I call it California, where they're trying to make it against the law for conversion therapy to go back to your natural state of being. They're trying to make it against the law for that to happen. So when we were walking down the street, there's a house on the other side where a lady came out and she said they support trans kids. And I asked her, why would you support the mutilation of children? And she said, because it's compassionate. She has a sign that says protect and support trans kids.
Come on. I am not a child abuser. I have compassion for trans children.
Are trans children born this way? Are they born that way?
I don't
There's no DNA to show that they're born that way.
I don't care about the
Get
DNA.
back in the closet! Get back in the closet! Get back in the
Shouldn't we protect children from abuse?
We should protect children from child abuse, and we should be compassionate for people and their beliefs.
So how is being compassionate for child abuse? How do you support child abuse and call that compassionate? How is showing compassion for child abuse? How is showing compassion for child abuse? That's all I want to know. How do you show compassion for child abuse?
I don't think she has God in her life. It's
It's funny you say that because she said if you're a Christian then you would be passionate.
No, she's not Christian. If she's pushing for something like that on the youth, obviously, there's a difference between saying, hey, let's go through with the transition, and having a hard no and saying, I'm still going to love you while you're going through these things. But if you can't serve our military and be in the armed service until you're 18, you shouldn't be able to change your sex.
Thank you. Thank you. I was talking to one gentleman just a second ago. I'm not sure where he went, but he was saying that, he made a good point. You can't join the military until you're 18. You can't consume alcohol until you're 21. Why not allow this dramatic change to a child to take place until they're 18?
I'd say even before that.
These people are perverts, and these people are satanic. They're going after the children. That's their, that's their goal. And it's different when it comes to sex for them. This isn't alcohol. This isn't tattoos. This isn't military. They want to mutilate children.
Do you notice that? Now it's protect trans kids. As if anything about what they're doing is protective or defensive. They are trying to mutilate their children. We are out here doing a defensive protest. We are out here saying, save our kids, protect our kids, and they had to copy our rhetoric because too many people realize, well, all that this trans group, the people fighting for this movement, all they're doing is trying to hurt children. And so they had to lie. They had to change their rhetoric to copy ours.
Yeah, so potentially, once she dips out of here, if he can't get it to a higher court,
his son's going to be gone forever.
His son's going to be gone forever. He's going to not know his son's name. They're going to change everything.
How is this not demonic?
It is.
It's fully demonic. It's unconstitutional. The gag order that Jeff was put under was unconstitutional, and the judge knows it. She knows that it's unconstitutional for her to have done that, and that was the justification for essentially taking the children out of state, because he broke an unconstitutional gag order saying you can't talk about the case, you can't stand up for your son, you must address your son as a girl, as Luna, the fake name that the mother has given James Younger.
Do you think that they're pushing this into the schools so then that more kids will go? So the state
controls the school. So if they push it through the schools, the state has control of your kids.
Take the power away from parents completely, because they know that if any of these parents, like Jeff Younger, right, if he actually had the rights over both his sons, they would be completely normal. James dressed in boys' clothes all the time when he was around Jeff, and only when he was under the mother's supervision was when the mother says, you're a girl, you're going to wear dresses, you're going to wear headbands, right? There's a video out there called Mommy Says I'm a Girl. Go on YouTube, go watch it. It's James Younger saying, Mommy says I'm a girl, right? This is way at the beginning when this was all first happening. And it's funny because, the conservative talking point right now is, well, wait till the kid's 18, but we can't pretend like this becomes normal to chop off your genitals at the age of 18. It's not normal, and it, stops reproduction. That's what they want. They want to depopulate us, quite literally.
Talking about abuse, right? They're saying putting children on puberty blockers is not abusive, but taking them to a drag show where sometimes you can see them all on Twitter where they're showing their junk to these kids. How is that not abuse?
It is abuse. If you're pushing anything LGBTQ onto your kids, encouraging them to live that lifestyle, accept that lifestyle that's not natural, that's not normal, that's not safe, that is child abuse. The hormones, that causes things that you can't reverse. If that child turns 18 and decides that they didn't actually want to transition, well, there's not much you can do now because they've been put on the hormones. When you take the kids to the drag shows and they're exposed to that horrible stuff, that very sexual graphic content, a lot of the time the drag queens are sex offenders and somehow they're performing for kids. That's very harmful for kids, and it is child abuse, and it should be considered child abuse legally. The parents that take their kids to those shows should be in prison.
I started doing this about 5 years ago because I am a detransitioner. I lived for 20 years years as a transsexual woman, and I also did drag shows in the nightclubs here in Dallas and Fort Worth and Arlington and throughout Texas, performing in drag shows. So I know what that lifestyle is all about. I know what the trans lifestyle is all about. And it is not a place you want to put children. So this is why whenever I switched over to the right side of things, I decided I would take a stand against this indoctrination that's happening for kids. If you want to transition, that's fine. Do it when you're 18. Preferably, I would prefer 25 because the frontal lobe of the brain is not finished developing until you're 25, but at least at 18. And if you're gonna do a drag show, do drag shows all day long. But drag events are adult form of entertainment. It's nothing different than taking your child to a strip club or a burlesque show. It's an adult form of entertainment, and it's meant for adults. So if adults want to get together and go to a drag show and have drinks, fine, but don't bring your children.